Flosstube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen and this is my fiber web where I talk about cross-stitch and other crafts sometimes. Today is March 17th and I never say what episode I'm on, but I believe this is Flosstube episode 34. That is Bear. I had the camera set so you could see his face and then he moved. Right. It is a little bit chilly today, but I cracked the window open again because so many people enjoyed the sounds of the birds last time. There's a little ornamental tree right outside this window that is very dense and the birds love it. So I didn't even notice how noisy they were until I was editing, and they get louder when I'm quiet. And I just opened the window so I scared them a little bit, but hopefully you'll hear them throughout this video again a little bit in the background. So it has only been 1 week since my last update, but I have been stitching like crazy, so I have a bunch of things to share with you today. I think there are 10 different cross-stitch projects that I've worked on in the last week. And then just one knitting project that I'll share at the end. Okay, I just stopped recording and went to save my video and realized I forgot to mention what I'm wearing. And also happy St. Patrick's Day. So I'm wearing a green sweater because it is St. Patrick's Day. I knit this. It is called the Autumn League Pullover. It is a free pattern on the designer's blog, which is twoofwands.com, or there's a paid for version with a PDF if you don't want to deal with all the ads on the website. And it's just like an oversized raglan. It has this little like sporty neckline detail, which is why it's called Autumn League. And I used a Knit Picks, it's worsted weight tweed. I don't remember what the base is called. I think the pattern is written for a DK weight yarn, but I got gauged with this worsted weight. And yeah, it's like a longer, I knit mine to be longer, like it goes down, like it covers my hips, and then I did like a split seam on the sides. So I think if you want more information, you can check it out on my Ravelry page, which is always linked in the description box. But yeah, this was a nice and easy, fun knit, and it's like one of my coziest like sweatshirt style knits that I made, which I put on since I opened the window, and because it's St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day. Okay, that's all. So I have a few finishes, new starts, whips, and we're just going to go through them, and hopefully this video will not be quite as long since it's only got a week's worth of stuff. So the first thing I want to show you is a finish of my new pattern that I designed myself. So here it is. This is the little stitch that I shared last time. It is called Not Today. And I did set up a Ko-Fi shop, so if you're interested in stitching this, you can find it there. I also moved Little Owl's Night onto that platform, so that chart is there too if you want to grab it. The link will be in the description box below. And last time I said I wasn't sure if anyone who didn't get the reference would want to stitch this, but it seems like a lot of people do, even without it. So this is something that Phoebe says in the show Friends. I think in the pilot episode, Ross is like very goofily trying to invite everyone over to help him assemble some furniture, and Phoebe says, "Oh, I wish I could, but I don't want to." And I loved Phoebe ever since. So she also has a famous quote about lobsters, and then I put the chick and the duck in that were roommates with Joey and Chandler. So that is my silly little chart, and like I said, it is available on Ko-Fi. And last time I was debating what to do with the border? I don't know. I had a few different borders, and I ended up picking one, but the color changes. So I have red for the accents on the top and this side, and then black on this side and the bottom to sort of balance out the colors and where they're placed in the chart. And I stitched this on a 32 count linen from the sewing shop called Siren Song. And I did it 2/2, and these are all DMC colors. And then I have another finish to share with you, which is my first MamaWitchCrossStitch pattern called Whale's Journey. this was a start and finish in like 2 or 3 days. I like, do you see how tiny this is? It's very cute. Let me show you close up. My back stitch looks a little questionable around the whale, but I think I'm just going to leave it how it is. I thought that this pattern was going to be much bigger than this. This is 14 count Aida. And I think this is one that I got in like a lot of destashed fabric, and it's not colored on the background, but it's not printed. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure how this was dyed, but there's like little flecks of the blue coming through on the back. So I'm not sure. I'm not going to wash this because I'm not sure that this dye will stay. But it's very pretty, bright blue. And yeah, I thought that the MamaWitchCrossStitch patterns would be a lot bigger. I think the way she uses shading, and then there's also a bunch of fractional stitches. So to get like the same amount of detail without those fractionals, it would probably have to be bigger. Maybe that's why I thought it looked bigger when I looked at it online. But yeah, I stitched this up real quick. This is all DMC, and I did 2/1 on this 14 count, and then the back stitch is 1 strand. So yeah, that was a sweet little stitch. Also, there is a stitch along for this. You can find it on the Cross Stitch Salander account on Instagram. It is called Witch Whale Sal, like WITCH for Mama Witch. And I will hopefully put that on the screen, and then you can find it and join in if you would like to stitch this or any Mama Witch pattern, really. I did get a couple other patterns of hers, so I might start another one. I have the Fruity Octopus, and then I got one of the little ornament ones that's even smaller than this, so we'll see if I start another one of those. But that was my second finish for the last week. And now I'm going to save the last finish until I get to it chronologically. So the day that I filmed my last video, last Monday, I started a new project. I started Cottage Garden Samplings, the Raccoon, along with Erin, 2 Martini Stitcher. Erin is doing 100 starts this year to celebrate her milestone birthday, and she gives like a preview on her Flosstube of what starts she has upcoming, and then says like, if anyone wants to start this with me, let me know. And I already had this one kitted up, so I figured I should join her. So I just worked on it a little bit that first day. So I did, let's see if I can get this. I did one little pink flower, and then I did the raccoon's little hands. So those are his 2 front legs and then one of his back legs. I did the little, I think raccoon feet are kind of creepy. They're like creepy cute. So I decided to do those first, like a weirdo. So there, you could see where I'm at, hopefully. And I ended up choosing this 40 count fabric. I don't know what it is. I got it, and it didn't have a label when I got it. And I did get a piece that's wide enough so that I can do the 3 spring animals all on one piece. So the raccoon goes in the middle. So I just started him in the middle. And then hopefully once I get him done, I can do the other 2 on the side, on either side. So this is my second year in the woods start, because I also started the reindeer in January on a piece of like gray fabric. So I think I'm gonna try to do them in seasons. I don't have fabric picked out for summer or fall yet, but I'll figure that out when I get there. So that was a new start. And then let's see, let me look at my notes because I feel like I'm going out of order now. I have too many different tabs open on everything all the time. Do you do that? Where is it? Here we go. Okay. Yeah, I definitely jumped around. Okay, there's just 2 out of order. Okay. So the next thing that I decided to work on, I had planned at the beginning of the year to try to work on all of my Halloween whips, most of which I started in October of last year, because I want to try to get some of them done so that when October rolls around again this year, I can have some new starts. And I was spinning a wheel to do that, and I did spin my Halloween wheel, and it picked 2 projects, and I just didn't want to work on those. So I picked 2 that I just felt like working on instead. And the first one was You're Dead, which is a Tusk and Cardinal pattern based on the show What We Do in the Shadows. And I had a very good start on this in October, and I worked on it for a couple days this month. And let me see, did I write down how many stitches I did? I didn't write down how many stitches I got in, but I did make it past 50% on this. And this one was in a little bit of trouble at the end of October because the chart uses the same symbol for 2 different shades, but the chart, it has like the colors behind it. But then when I put it in Pattern Keeper just saw them both as the same color. So I had originally stitched this axe head with like a tan color, and I had to frog it. So when that happened, I put this in timeout. But I love stitching on this. This is on a 16 count Aida. I'm doing 2/1. And I am trying to color complete because that is what just motivates me the most. So I was trying to get enough elements in that I could start color completing without having to count too far. And yeah, I really love this pattern. It's super fun. It is, the 16 count Aida is a little bit annoying sometimes, just to make sure that I'm actually going through the hole in the Aida and not piercing the fabric. But if I hold it up with, or put something light color behind it, it's fine. So I love this one. I kind of want to keep it out and maybe finish it before October, but I'm not sure. We'll see. And then on Friday was the full moon. It was overnight Thursday, early Friday morning. It was the blood worm moon with a eclipse, which blood worm moon sounds disgusting, but it was cool. So I have this Moon Phase Bell Pull by Tiny Modernist that I started at the beginning of the year with Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe. And then since then, Megan, the Wide-Eyed Stitcher, and Amy from Amy Loves Toads have joined us. And I got my stitches in, so we are a quarter of the way through the year now, and I am 25%, like exactly with this. So I almost got the trees done. There's one more tree that still needs the top, and I pulled the border up on either side. This fabric is a 32 count opalescent Lugana from Mystic Fabrics called, it says Night Sky Brandy, so I don't know if, yeah, Night Sky Brandy. And this one always gets washed out, like it's darker than it looks. You can see the sparkles though, so that's fun. Yeah, this has been really fun so far, and I'm excited because I'm almost to the moons. I think maybe next month I will get to the moons. Okay, and then I pulled out one of my monthly stitch-alongs that I was planning to keep up with this year and then just didn't work on it at all in February. So this is Put a Bird on It by Modern Folk Embroidery, and the stitch-along is hosted by the Sunshine Stitchers, I believe. And they broke it up into 12 parts, but I'm just going wherever I want and stitching like a 12th of it every month, or attempting to. So when I got it out this time, let's see, I put in about 1,000 stitches. So this giant motif was almost done, but I think you can see mine is two-toned, and some of the lighter color was not done yet, so a couple of those flowers I still had to put in. And then I did this green motif with the birds, and then I came up here to the top because I wanted to trim down my fabric, which I did. Also, I put this through my sewing machine, and I usually do a zigzag stitch, and I'm the only one who uses the sewing machine, and I didn't even notice until I got this back to my stitchy spot and was working on it that it's not zigzag, it's just a straight stitch. So I don't know how that happened. I don't know. I haven't made anything in between, just zigzagging the edges, so I don't know what I don't know what happened. But anyway, I shared on Instagram, I'm not super happy with this color because the contrast with my fabric, the value contrast, is not very good. So it makes it kind of hard to pick out the motif. It's just not as crisp as the other ones. So it's not like a huge problem, and I might just leave it and finish up that motif in that pink and then just not use that pink again. Or I might change it to something a little darker so that the shapes pop a little bit more. And I shared that, like, with knitting, I usually do a black and white photo of colors that if I'm going to use them in color work, because the same thing happens with knitting and color work. Like, if you use two colors that to the eye look very different, but they have not a lot of contrast with the value, which means like the darkness of the color, it can make it confusing and hard for your eye to pick out the patterns, and your eyes just sort of like mush it together. So like if you used a similar value red and blue, your eyes would just kind of make it look purpley and you wouldn't really see the images as well. So anyway, it's a really neat trick, and I don't usually do it for cross stitching. I just trust my eyes, and this time that didn't really work. So I don't know what this fabric is. It's a like soft and sort of slippery, I think it's Lugana, and it's 32 count, so I am doing 2/2, and I'm using NPI and Overa Soie silks for this. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. I had not tried, did I say Overa Soie? No, I'm using Soie d'Alger. Yeah, Overa Soie. Okay, I'm using these Soie d'Alger silks, which I've never used before, and I did not realize that they're a bit thicker than the NPI. So when I started, so these two shades are NPIs, and this one is the Soie d'Alger. So when I started doing this, I was doing it 2/2 like I was for this, and it was just like way too chunky. So this is just one strand, and I like it way better, and I don't think it's super noticeably different than the two strands of NPI. So I don't think it's actually twice as thick, but I like this coverage, and I just wanted to point that out. I've like listened to people talk about using silks on their channel, but like I think most of it just went one in one ear and out the other because I wasn't really using them very much. So everyone else probably already knew that, but I didn't. So that was a fun discovery. Also, I realized in a recent video I called the silks 100.3s, and we don't say that when we're cool, we just say 103s, and I realized it when I was editing that it sounded weird, but whatever, I'm a cotton person, I guess. Okay, the next pattern I have to show you is my Modern Folk Embroidery freebie for Ukraine. This is gonna say, I don't know how to pronounce the word, but it's the Ukrainian word for peace, and I just got this out and worked on it for a day. I really like this chart, but working on it is not feeling therapeutic for me. It's making me feel sort of sad, so I'm just working on it in little chunks. I like the pattern a lot. Okay, and then I decided to work on another Halloween whip. So my goal is to do 2 every month. I did You're Dead, and the other one I decided to work on this month is Monster House by Satsuma Street, which I shared on Instagram that I finished part 5, which was halfway done, and then I decided to keep it out and just finish the whole thing. So Monster House is done. It looks so good. I love this so much. So when I pulled this out this month, I had the cat and the skeleton, and like up here it was like partially done. So I had to put these little pink dots in this arch and then finish up some of this, and then I had part of this roof in, but I had to do all this and the flag. So that was like a couple of days, and then I decided to just jump into part 6. So I started down here with this green and put the cat and this wiggly chimney in, and the tower with the tower monster, and this last tentacle. So there's 2 down here, and then there's one up here, and then this big moon. All of those are new, and it's done, and I love it. So this is on 28 count Kiwi by Fiber on a Whim, and I love it. And in person, the moon is standing out a lot more than it is on screen. This fabric does not like to be photographed. It never shows up correct. Like the camera wants to dull it down, and then also like make these lighter colors blend in with it, but they aren't very blendy. And it's bright. Oh, that's a little bit better. I don't know why the camera doesn't like it. Anyway, I stitched this as charted with one tiny exception, which is that these little ghosts are supposed to have like eyebrows and little smiles or mouths, and I liked them how they looked. So Monster House is done. I'm very happy with this, and I just pinned it onto my little wool ironing mat that I have, so I could show you. I'm so excited that this is done, and that means that I don't know if Jody is going to do another Halloween sale this year, but if she does, I will not feel bad about joining because I finished this one. Yay! I don't want to put it down. I love it so much. I do not have a frame picked out for this one. I need to measure it and see what the dimensions are and see if I can find something that will work. But yeah, I absolutely love this. It was so fun. It has like more backstitch than most of the things that I stitched, but it didn't bother me at all. And I really liked doing it in the sections as they came out. It worked really well for this. Okay, I'll put it down. Okay, and then I have two more things. So after I worked on that, I think I was sort of in the mood to see what other past stitch-alongs I could make progress on. So I got out of Dragons and Apples, which was a stitch-along from Quaternion Creations, Maria, in 2023, maybe? Don't quote me on that. So I pulled this out and worked on it for a couple days. Last time you saw this, which would have been my whip parade, I think. So the sale started up here. So this was like part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So part 6 was only partially done when I pulled this out. I had like I think I had the bottom part of this frame and like a little bit of the black in here. So I finished out this whole box. I added the gray in the wings, and then I started to outline this one. And for some reason I was not working on this in Pattern Keeper. I don't remember why, but I did put the pattern into Pattern Keeper, and I marked off all the things that I have done so I can use it for the rest, and I am at 54% I think now on this. So this box should go pretty quick. And then this one has like the princess with a basket, and then it opens up into the big center panel with the dragon, which you probably just saw because hopefully I put the image up on the screen. But I really love this one. And I did want to say, this was one of the earlier projects that I started. So I didn't really jump into cross-stitching until like the very end of 2022, like November. I started a handful of projects. So I started this when the sale started, obviously in January, I think it started, of 2023. So I'd only been stitching for a couple months, and I don't remember where I got this fabric, and I don't know what it is. I mean, it's a linen, but this is the most uneven linen that I have ever worked on. And at the time, I don't think I realized that it was very bad because I didn't have much to compare it to. But coming back to it now, like, it is sort of tricky to make sure that you're staying on track. And the stitches end up looking great, but I was just reflecting that. I didn't even know that this was sort of a tricky linen, but now with a lot more to compare it to, I do. So I'm proud of myself for not having too much of a problem with this, like, right off the bat. I love this. I want to finish it. I was a little bit sad to see that I'm only about 50% done, even though I'm more than 50% through the clues, but the last one is so big. Okay, one more stitching project to show you. So when I put that one down, I decided to pull out one of the patterns that I thought I was going to finish last year, and then I just didn't ever pull it out at the second half of the year. And this is My Flowers from Boomerang Stitches. So I did a color conversion for this. I am using almost all DMC except this pink color is a variegated something or another. I think the rest are DMC. So the first time when I started this, I had done this whole first flower and I started the stem of the second one. So I worked on this weekend and got this second flower done. This is my fabric from the the crazy hamster that was marked as a 40 count, but it's actually 40 in one direction and 32 in the other. So my flowers are taller and a little bit skinnier than they look in the pattern because of my fabric. So for this pattern, I think that is fine. It does mean that like this is supposed to look a bit more square than it does. So mine is like, makes it more rectangle, if that makes sense. And then just because it's still on here, I also did last year after market, as soon as I got this pattern in the mail, I started it. This is Hedgehog and Hyacinth from the Blue Flower. And I did this one the opposite direction. So instead of being taller and skinnier, my hedgehogs are a little shorter and plumper than they look in the chart because my dimensions are different with this fabric. But I love them. I need to like cut these guys out and fully finish them. I would love to make this into a little pillow that I could just put up on the shelf. Oh, also, I forgot to mention last time. For my birthday, my kids got me some Lego kits, and I think I shared them on Instagram, but not on here. So there's 3 up here. There's the orchid is Legos, and so is this bonsai tree. And then this collection of succulents are the 3 Lego kits I got for my birthday, and then that flower from Mario that they got me for Christmas. So I'm gonna need a bigger shelf for all of my Lego stuff. Those were so fun to build. I don't know. There's like a whole series of Lego botanical kits that are made for adults. Like the box says 18 plus, which I think is kind of strange, but they were super fun. And I made one with Reed, who is my 12-year-old, and I made one with Gray, who is 9. And then the one that Cole got for me, Cole's 3. I just built that one by myself when everyone was sleeping. But yeah, they were super fun. Okay, one more crafty thing. I wanted to show you an update on my socks that I am knitting for the I Love Books and Sock Knitting knit along, hosted by Earth Tones Girl on Instagram, and she's on YouTube. So I finished my first sock. These are, the pattern is called the Minecraft socks. It's a free pattern. I will link it in the description box. So I finished this first sock last night, and I already wove in the ends and everything. And to avoid second sock syndrome, I cast on the second one right away. So I got the cuff done and just barely started on the like pattern repeat for the leg. So these go with the book that I was reading about fungi. I can never remember the title of it. I'll put the picture up. I finished the book already because I cheated and I listened to it while I was stitching and not just while I was working on my socks. If I only listened to it while working on socks, the socks would also be done. But I highly recommend this book. It is very good. If you feel comforted by books that make you think that the human race is not that important, then I think this is a good one. Like if you like to read that astrophysics book by Neil deGrasse Tyson, or if you like to, like, that's books about space, or books about fungi, or things like that, that give perspective to, like, how little time humans have actually been on this planet, and how big everything is outside of us. That makes me feel better. If that freaks you out, then maybe you don't want to read this book, but I thought it was really cool. It is nonfiction. The audiobook is fantastic. It is read by the author. He has a very like soothing voice and a nice accent, and I found him very enjoyable to listen to. And yeah, I really like the book, so highly recommend the audiobook in particular. I'm sure reading the book is fun as well. Okay, and then I didn't really tell you or share what I read in February because I sort of stopped reading at the beginning of the month. I think I finished only like 3 books in February after finishing like 10 in January. So I'm trying to get back into it. Maybe next time I'll do like a more in-depth book talk about what I've been reading. But I did want to share a couple things that are on my mind for later this month, like 3 days. Okay. For the spring equinox, I have a couple patterns in mind that I was thinking about starting. One of them I have showed you before. It is in this newest Just Cross Stitch magazine. A lot of people have seen this and are already stitching it. It is this Nature's Journey by Sprouting Lupine, which, by the way, I saw a video from Kat, and she called her own business Sprouting Lupine, and I had been calling it Sprouting Lupin, so I was wrong. I'm sure Kat knows how to say her own business name. So, my apologies if I led you astray by saying it wrong. Sprouting Lupine, Kat, Nature's Journey. I'm thinking about starting this when spring starts. I have fabric picked out. I think I already shared this, so sorry if this is a repeat. But it is this 40 count pewter. I was looking at doing it on a darker fabric, but I decided against it. I think the colors will show up on this. And then the other thing that I was considering starting is from this Magickal cross-stitch book by Lindsay Swearingen, and it is this Wheel of the Year. So there's a stitch along happening where obviously you just work on the section near the celebration during the Wheel of the Year. So it's a genius idea for a stitch along because you can just start it whenever throughout the year and just start it on the corresponding section to the time of year it is. So I would be starting on Ostara. I haven't checked to see if I have fabric for this. I have a lot of fabric, but I don't have a lot of black, and I don't know what I have that would be dark enough. So I need to check on that. And pattern info. Oh, it's only 110 by 110, so it's not that big. So I think that would be a nice one to just do little bite-sized pieces during those celebrations, and then also, you know, it helps you stay in tune with what is happening in nature. Okay. So I feel like there was something else that I was also considering starting this month, but I don't remember what it is. So if you know what I was considering starting this month, maybe remind me. But I've been very motivated to get progress on my whips, my pre-2025 whips. And I just feel like whenever I have that motivation, I should go with it as long as it lasts, because I know eventually I will be like, bleh, I want to do something new. So there's a chance I might not start either of those. I might push them both. But I don't know. I might. We'll see. We'll see where the week takes me and the rest of the month. So I am going to wrap this up here. I did want to say, for those of you who have already purchased my Not Today pattern, I thank you very much. It is wild. Again, like I said this about Little Owl's Night, but just the fact that people want to stitch something that I just came up with, you know, in my brain and on my computer is really cool. So thank you, and thank you to everyone who shared it on Instagram and liked it and commented supporting my idea and my design. I very much appreciate that. And then I also wanted to say, on Tuesday last week I had my epidural and spinal injection for my back pain, and it is like night and day. Like, the pain that I have in my leg, the sciatica pain, is like a mere shadow of what it was before. I only feel it sometimes, and it's not anywhere near as intense or bad as it was before. So I don't know if that is part of the reason that I've been stitching so much. I'm just like in a much better mood. I'm feeling much more optimistic about my back and my progress, and the idea that I probably will not need any surgery or anything. My body is just going to keep healing itself, and that is exciting, and I'm feeling better. Like I said, I can move a lot more freely. I was able to stand up long enough to cook a meal the other day, which was definitely not something I had been able to do since I initially injured myself. So yeah, I'm feeling good physically, which is helping me feel a bit better mentally. I've also been successfully limiting my doom scrolling and news reading time, which has also helped, I think. So, and the weather getting a little warmer. We did have, on Friday, it was like 80 degrees here, which is crazy. And then the next day, it was super windy. We had a tornado warning. There were lots of tornadoes happening. I'm not sure that anything actually touched down near us, but we did have to like take the kids down into the basement when they were already sleeping, which was sort of, scary for them and not fun for us. And then it was a rough night getting them back to bed after that. But the tornadoes were pretty bad. Those storms were bad, like across the country. So hopefully, you are safe and well. And if you were impacted by those, I have had you in my thoughts. I know a lot of people were impacted by them. And then yesterday we had snow. So 80 degrees on Friday, and then yesterday we had like 2 or 3 inches of snow, which is currently still on the ground, but the high today is 55, so I think it will be gone by the end of the day. I don't know. It has been wild. So, like I said, I hope that you are safe. I hope that you are well. I hope you're finding time to do things that make you feel happy in the moment, at least, or let you, breathe calmly. And I will see you soon. Bye.